Honorable ministers here present, heads of delegations, dear CAPA delegates, distinguished guests from all the corners of our continent, ladies and gentlemen. Allow me now, as we are coming to the end of our conference, to present to you a summary of some key resolutions that we have from this conference. The CAPA 2019 Kigali International Conference, which started on Monday, on 26th August, and which is ending today in this afternoon. We have captured almost everything that has been said, and we are ready to produce a final report. But what I'm presenting to you is a summary of some of the key recommendations that we are to be taking as a take-home. We came up with 11 resolutions. I'm going to take you through them. The first one is, in order to overcome the challenges facing TVET, Africa needs to act together, learn from each other, harmonize policies, strategies, standards, and procedures to bridge identified gaps to enable cross-border mobility of skilled labor. That's the first one. The second one is to rebrand CAPA to become a Pan-Africanism institution to attract all African countries to be part of TVET development agenda in Africa by engaging with the Education Commission of the African Union. The third one, it was agreed that member states should contribute their membership fees regularly to allow effective coordination of its activities. Ministers and respective delegates will advocate for this in their countries. Number 4, to rebrand TVET and adapt it to the current innovative and technological developments for preparing youth to meet the requirements of the 4th industrial revolution. Number 5, African countries need to establish more TVET institutions in their rural communities to empower and skill their young generations and make them potential entrepreneurs. Number 6, African countries should share best practices and review their TVET curricula to integrate technical skills with entrepreneurship, life skills, management and leadership skills to improve employability. Number 7, TVET trainers institutions to be established for continuous capacity building to train or retrain trainers, to keep trainers up to date with changing technologies with the TVET system for imparting skills relevant to the labor market. Number 8, African governments should prioritize support to TVET education through provision of enough and adequate training facilities such as infrastructure and equipment, among others. Number 9, governments to introduce legal frameworks that will strengthen engagement with the industry in the entire TVET value chain, right from labor market surveying, program designing, curriculum development, workplace learning, or dual training and assessment in African context. Private sector is no longer a client. It should be part of the skills development process in TVET reform. Their involvement is an investment to improve their workforce. Number 10, governments in collaboration with the private sector to put up mechanisms to nurture TVET innovations and to scale them up into locally made commercial products. Lastly, government should involve the youth in policy design and formulation to instill positive values and attitudes that will foster their character, their competency and commitment, and develop networking that will bring synergy which can respond to their challenges. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Paul, for reading out the resolutions, but I don't want to risk every one of us going back with a very burning and a very important issue that he might have not captured, and I'm only giving 3 people chances. If you think that there is something that was not captured well, then we can get it. Happy? Okay. 1. Okay.
Good afternoon. I'm Dr. Samson Adegoke, Osun State College of Technology, Esauki, Nigeria. I feel that we should, as a matter of urgency, put the fact that we have talked too much, that action should be more, and that a TVET innovation conference like this should include practical exhibition of developments from different countries, so that we can demonstrate what we have been able to do from the past conferences, rather than doing the same rhetorics over and over. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is another one here?
Thank you, sir. Mine is just an observation. Under item 10, I think the word they want to use there is not nature, it's nurture. If you bring up that, please let them look at it and correct it. Thank you.
Just behind you, there's a gentleman behind you and a lady. That would be good. 2 of you.
Thank you for recognition. Piri from Malawi. Since I came here on Monday, the organizers, we need to put much of inclusive learning, because most of the issues which we discussed here, I have seen that there is little terms of inclusive learning. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'm also from Malawi. I think we have, there's a doctor who was in front there who talked passionately about patenting, the African patenting. I think it should really come out loudly.
Good. I'm in for the lady here. The extreme end, yeah.
Thank you. The women met yesterday, and I think our resolution should also be captured. I am Sheung from Yaba College of Technology.
Unfortunately, I think we might end up having another session. I'll take more 3. 1 from this side. Okay.
Thank you. Can I go on? Yeah, I'm Professor Fashake from Nigeria. I think the theme of this conference has to do with partnership and collaboration. And this last section here, the plenary session we just had, lay emphasis on this, the involvement of SME and others, industries and factories that can collaborate, that can link up, with the TVET. It's very important that we have to capture that aspect. And as it appears as if we are just preaching to the preachers, to the converters, we already converted. So, but we need those people to link up, and then so that we can raise the bar of this TVET. I think it's very important, the importance of SMEs.
Your neighbor, your immediate neighbor, please.
I'm Dr. Joseph Bolaniwa from Nigeria. I think mine is a little bit of editorial corrections. The capital, the tenses should be smoothened. That's all.
Okay, let's end with Ghana.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. I'm Solomon, Takoradi Technical University, Student Representative President. I observed something, and I want to even take this opportunity to thank my Vice Chancellor, Reverend Professor Frank Ison. I realized that most of the Vice Chancellors, the rectors, they are all here. Most of them are here. But how many students has they come alongside with? Because the program is for the youth. But I mean, people actually want to come. But I, being the SIC president, the Student Representative Council, he denies some people. But so, the program is for the youth. How many youth are being taken from their various technical universities and the Polytechnics to this program? We should bring the youth, because if indeed, like our panelists, the last panel were saying that we should allow the youth, because sometimes they even know more to practicalize some of the things. So if you bring them to learn this, they'll begin to think a different way. Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, thank you. And I want to make sure that I request each one of us who has a burning idea. Paul, please, can you come back here? Make sure that this man has your point, such that it is well captured. He's the one doing the reporting, and if I did not give you a chance to say something, please make sure that your idea is put across. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. As I have said at the beginning, what you have presented here is just a summary of some resolutions. But don't worry, everything that has been said in this conference has been captured. So then they will come up with a final report which includes everything that you are claiming. So, okay? So you should not worry, nothing has been forgotten. Thank you very much.
Good. Thank you, Paul. Thank you, the wonderful team of rapporteurs, to having put everything together. And good. One announcement before, because if you go into speeches, I'll forget. Those who want to follow some of the proceedings we had, our camera crew have already started uploading some of the videos on Rwanda Polytechnic YouTube channel. So you can follow them, some of the proceedings. And we already have about 6 uploads, and you can follow most of the issues. And for those who downloaded the event app to respond to conference evaluation, please do that. Make sure that you evaluate this conference, because it informs what we should expect in our next conference. So with that, I want to invite the Vice Chancellor to come and give us his remarks. Thank you very much.
Honorable Ministers, General Secretary of CAPA, CAPA Executive Board members, participants representing various countries, representatives of public and private institutions, development partners, dear representatives of youth here present, Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. We are drawing to the end. I'm actually kind of sad that we are finishing. I was starting to enjoy it, but I know there's one person who is really happy, Diogene Murindahabi. Can you stand up, Diogene? Diogene Murindahabi is the principal. Is the principal of one of the colleges which make up Rwanda Polytechnic. As I mentioned in my introductory remarks on Tuesday, Rwanda Polytechnic is made up of 8 polytechnics, which the government brought together. They merged for better resource management. He's the principal of the IPRC here in Kigali. And some of you, I think, may have registered to visit the campus, which is only a few minutes, maybe 10 minutes away from here for benchmarking. Those of you who want to do that, make sure you register for tomorrow. I take this opportunity to express my gratitude to all people present here in the conference for the great job well done during the presentations and discussions. All acquired skills will help us to improve our TVET systems. Rwanda Polytechnic is a newly established institution. We gained a lot from this CAPA conference, as it is a great platform for TVET key players to discuss and find solutions to challenges we are facing in TVET, as well as envisioning the bright future of TVET in Africa. All preparations and discussions were fantastic and impactful to, I hope, all the people who were here in this conference. Most of the discussions, interviews, panel discussions, and talks on TVET turned around issues affecting TVET, especially the poor mindset of people that who think that TVET is for weak, poor performers and slow learners who are not doing well in class or in sciences. We really need this mentality to be changed and make our TVET more attractive for parents, students, and other stakeholders. We take this very seriously here in Rwanda because in what we call the National Strategy for Transformation, where Rwanda is wanting to be a manufacturing country, to industrialize our economy. We want to change the mindset, and we are going to start on a campaign, a one-year campaign, where we want to show people, not just talking to them, but showing them practically that the choice for parents to send their children to TVET is a wise choice. Because as Africa industrializes, there are many, many, many jobs that are going to be created for people with the right work skills. Noting that our private sector is still small and growing, we as TVET providers, we need to work closely with the private sector and build strong academia industry linkages for effective collaboration. And I may want to add here, who are this private sector we talk about? The private sector is in our hands. The young people we are nurturing, give them those skills of entrepreneurship to think that they can be business owners of the future. They are the future private sector. So we need to take that on board. Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I'm very honored to see that most of the governments of Africa are mindful about the vital role that TVET plays in socio-economic development of our countries. I'm sure that everybody who participated in this conference has benefited a lot. The skills and international best practices shared during this conference will help everybody and every country here present to improve TVET delivery. I conclude my remarks by thanking our government for the support they are giving us in TVET sector. I'm also appreciative of CAPA Secretariat for the commitment to TVET development. We prepared together. This is CAPA conference, not Rwanda conference. We are just a stakeholder, but this was really geared and the brainchild, the organization was really done by Secretary General, and she asked us to help. So the success, if things went well, it's her to be congratulated, and I'll be walking behind her. not me. So thank you, Secretary General, for managing us. We held many video conferences, and we worked together to iron out those teething problems. I'm sure the next one who will host this conference will do even a better job from learning from our mistakes. There are a few problems that we didn't do as well, but we tried our best. I want really to thank the team of that has been working together with Diogene, Murinda Habi, who were spending sometimes sleepless nights at the airport, making sure that the vehicles, some of you had complaints, but these things happen. I hope that we tried our best, and please do come back to the country of 1,000 hills. Come to visit us, and I want to finish on this. Let's really, those resolutions, let's read them. Let's read them and try to make sure that we stay in touch. I hope that there will be contacts that you'll be leaving behind. I'm going to contact as many people as possible. We build those partnerships that we need so desperately. I thank you very much.
Thank you, VC, for your kind words, for the very elaborate and passionate about TVET. I want to invite the Secretary General for her statement, and I want to also request her that at the end of her statement, she invites her colleague from CAPA with the next event. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Moderator. Honorable Ministers, we are going to really curtail the protocols. I wish to register my appreciation to all delegates present here, but more especially, and that's what I want to do before I even get started with some few words that I want to share with this very august gathering. And that is to recognize the strong force that is behind this 41-year-old institution. And that is the Executive Board of the Commonwealth Association of Technical Universities and Polytechnics in Africa, CAPA. Moderator, please allow me to invite the members of the Executive Board of CAPA to come forward to be recognized and appreciated. Some of them had already started returning back to their respective destinations, but we still have a good number present here. Yes. Professor Gashumba, of course, our newest member. Thank you very much for really being a big force in making this formidable forum for us. Another new member, Professor Spirit B. Talatli. If you can just wave your hand, please, to be recognized. Thank you. Dr. Agbola, Jacob Agbola from Nigeria. Our very own CT Owowo from Kenya. Thank you very much, sir. Reverend Dr. Frank Echon from Ghana. Thank you. He is also another new member just joining CAPA. From Malawi, I don't need to introduce him. I saw the type of performance he just put up recently. Mavalo Zuzuki from Malawi. The powerful lady of Kenya, if you hear of the Kenya Association of Technical Training Institutions, CATI, the big force in Kenya, is being led. Don't look at the size and my size and try to compare. Size doesn't matter here. She is really a powerful woman in Kenya, leading that powerful association where you have all the technical training institutions in Kenya. Madam Glory, thank you very much. Mr. Charles Akaj, also a very senior principal of the Kabete National Polytechnic in Kenya. And then we have a representative of the newest. Again, we have 3 new representatives here. The co-heads of Nigeria, where you have the council of the heads of institutions of technology in Nigeria. Again, a very strong membership in CAPA. Sir, you are welcome, representing Dr. Sadiq Abubakar. Gentlemen, or I should say ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for the support. Thank you very much for being the force behind what CAPA is today and where we are moving on to. Thank you, sirs, and thank you, ma'am. I think there was an error. I should have started with ma'am before sirs for many good reasons, and everybody would have to appreciate and accept that. Honorable ministers, again, thank you very much for putting up with us, traveling from Namibia and from Tanzania and from Niger, Morocco, we were expecting, and many others that really had the intention to join us, but for one reason or the other, were unable to fulfill that intent. We are grateful. You supported us throughout. So many events, side events, in addition to the main conference, as we put up in the invite that we sent early this year. We thank the Almighty for really enabling us to achieve all the events that we had intended to do. Distinguished delegates, I am recognizing each and every one of us that had participated during this conference from the 26th to date. But I have to really show special gratitude to those women that had participated, that had made people like myself and younger generations, young women, to have the daring mind to contest in a sector, in an area that is perceived to be male dominant, and had fared very well in the process. So I would like to recognize the representatives of women in technical education and development from Africa. If you are present, can you just rise wherever you are for you to be recognized, whether it is from Nigeria, whether it's from Ghana. I just want to appreciate these women that participate in the technical education and development. Thank you very much. Thank you. I would like to really reiterate that when I came into office in January this year, one of the first things that I looked at was the initiatives, the early initiatives of CAPA. And then I realized that there was this WETED that started off, I could say, almost 2 decades ago. But for one reason or the other, it became dormant. And during my tour of member institutions, one of the things that really became my flagship was that we need to revitalize those chapters of WITED that were initiated, and for one reason or the other, just died out. I was impressed with the institutions that I visited, and I saw departments, really male-dominant perceived departments, like engineering, being manned, or shall I say, being... don't mind us. Whatever we say, there is still going to be MAN in it. and these department heads, were bold enough, strong enough to be really leading this department. That inspired me. And I also saw, and I have to say this, I was told by some stakeholders in Rwanda that has not happened yet with the female participation. And I say Kenya can really teach you how it is done, because not only are they in technical education, but they are also in top decision-making levels. Honorable ministers, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, as I welcome you to the closing of the 41st CAPA Kigali International Conference from the 26th to the 30th of August 2019, the resolutions captured all the events, like I said, that were showcased during this very important event. Notably, we have to really salute the second Pan-African youth movement, which was initiated last year in Nigeria, in Abuja. And we saw a marked improvement in the forum this year, not only in terms of number, but we also saw the quality of presentations, the interactions that took place. And a lot of people, almost everybody, said the same thing. It is not about rhetorics now, it is about action. It is action. It is not about entrepreneurship, it is not about innovation, because we've been doing that. Probably what we are going to do now, to look back and see the level of these initiatives that we had mainstreamed in our curricula. How do we improve on them? How do we practicalize them? How do we make them more relevant to what our different labor market is asking for? We have different needs, is Africa, but then you need to satisfy the immediate local market, and then we talk about the regional and then the international. As we always say, nobody is living now in an island, and therefore, even when we train, even when we are giving out those skills, we don't contain ourselves within our environment, because we want to really ensure that the graduates have got that mobility, that international mobility, and will be able to move around. And then the skills that they acquired in their own environments are also relevant to wherever they found themselves in. So that is the way forward. We are not going to talk anymore. It is going to be action. And I can tell you, Dr. Tarno, we've taken your word. When we meet again, it is going to be a conference on conferences. So many conferences, so the conference that is going to be done is going to talk about what have we achieved in all the conferences that we have been making so much of talking and probably less doing. I have to say that I am very pleased to inform this August gathering that we have a good representation from Africa. 15 African countries, according to the records I have, were present at this forum. That is remarkable. Thank you very much, Africa. Somebody talked about competition for the youth. And I just want to remind this gathering again that, of course, there was a competition, that is the 2019 CAPA Startup Africa Talent and Innovation competition that was ongoing for several months. And then the finale which took place recently, 2 days ago, with TVET students that had done very well, a lot of innovative ideas. It was tough for the judges, but finally 3 finalists emerged as winners, and I understand they had gone with cash awards of $7,000 US, $5,000 US, and $4,000 US respectively. In addition to that, there would be incubation opportunities for these finalists. Thank you very much, Startup Africa, for this initiative, and I hope it is also going to be institutionalized so that next year we see a marked improvement, and then a lot of African countries would also participate. Youth leader, Solomon, we've had you. What we did, we really wanted youth to be supported. And as a result, I want to say thank you very much to the AU. They supported 10 youth from different African countries to come and participate. In addition to that, we also had the GIZ to support the youth. But more importantly, those few principals that took it upon themselves and sponsored groups of youth leaders from their institutions to come and compete, to come and participate in this very, I don't want to call names, but thank you very much for those principles. I think that should be really an encouragement for other principals to pick it up. Yes, it is good for us to come, but it is also good for us to come along with the young. Since we always say that we are here for them, let them also come and be nurtured. We are mentoring them. We mentor them all the way to the highest level. One thing we have learned, and I have to really talk about that, one thing that we have learned from this conclave is that as practitioners in TVET, we collectively can make a difference in policy direction, in youth empowerment, in entrepreneurship, and innovation in Africa. As we have highlighted on various platforms during this convergence. As the apex body of TVET in Africa, we shall continue to engage stakeholders with the outcome of this conference, which we hope shall usher member institutions and hence African governments to new directions in the implementation of TVET in Africa for sustainable development. Yes, we had 4 cabinet ministers that were present during the ministerial forum, but I can tell you this is going to be extended to the whole Africa by using the AU Commission so that we have African governments giving us the support that we need, and then we'll stop complaining about lack of political will or political support from our various ministries. We are grateful for being here. We started last year, few ministers came, and now we have new ministers adding to the initiative of this ministerial forum. We are grateful. Thank you very much. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you, SG, for the wonderful remarks. I want to invite Mr. Suzuki. I hope I pronounce your name very well. Thank you.
My name is Suzgika Mvalo. You didn't pronounce it well. Honorable ministers here present, the Secretary General of CAPA, executive board members of CAPA, the chairperson and organizing committee, local organizing committee, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen. I've been requested by the CAPA Executive Board to give a vote of thanks. As recipients and users of the good facilities here at Kigali Convention Center, as well as the services and all that we have gone through here in Rwanda since the past 3, 4, 5 days that most of us have been here, as recipients of the excellent service that our colleagues on the ground have accorded us, it's only African that we say thank you at the end of everything. I stand here, as I've said, on behalf of the Executive Board of CAPA to express our gratitude and thanks, firstly to the local organizing committee here in Rwanda, ably headed by Dr. Gashumba. At this point in time, I think we've just been hearing or seeing the chairperson, Dr. Gashumba, without necessarily seeing the whole team that was behind the success of this great conference. Allow me, still by way of saying thank you, to request Dr. Gashumba and the entire local organizing team to come up front. Those that are in here, please, will you please come up front so that the audience can appreciate, can themselves say thank you, and thank you so much to all of you. Thank you very much. I think, audience, you'll agree with me that it is right and proper. Today we are talking of a very successful conference. The team in front of us, headed by Dr. Gashumba, the VC of RIP, and the principal, Eugen, and all of them, you see them in front. Since we arrived here, we've been mingling and interacting with these faces, directing us, giving us guidance, etc., etc. They really spent a lot of their energies, their time, their love, and everything on us as delegates to this conference. I thought it is right and proper that at this point in time, we simply say, Murakoze, Asante sana in Swahili. In my local language, we say Zikomo. Thank you very much. You have been a wonderful team, and putting together this international conference wasn't a small assignment. Ladies and gentlemen, you'll agree with me, this conference has been one of the topmost notch. And let's give a big applause to the team. Thank you very much. You can take your seats. Again, let me extend thanks to my colleagues in the executive committee also, who behind the scenes have done a great job. We are scattered. As you heard the names of the countries in the executive board, we are very scattered across Africa. But again, there was a core team behind the scenes to put together this successful conference, ably headed again by the Secretary General of CAPA, at the moment, who happens to be the distinguished daughter of Africa in the name of Mrs. Farr, and the entire executive board. Let's also once again give a round of applause to the executive committee for a well job done. Allow me also to thank all the delegates. It wasn't easy for you to put together energies and efforts to come and avail yourself at this conference. If we are talking of any success of this conference today, it's because of your presence. So by just coming here to be a delegate, starting from being to come and learn, just being a spectator, to those colleagues who endeavored and spent sleepless nights doing research and disseminating the same at this conference. All of you, CAPA Executive Board is saying thank you very much. Please, the next core of the conference, please, let's continue to do that and give ourselves in to be present at the conferences, because that constitutes to the success of the conferences. Thank you very much. Finally, I would like to wish all the delegates travel messes as we all be trekking back to our home countries at the end of this. Some are on the way right now, in the planes, flying back, but most of us will also be taking our flights tonight, others tomorrow. Would like, on behalf of the Executive Board of CAPA, to wish you very safe flights back till we meet again at the next conference next year in 2020. Probably I wouldn't preempt to announce where that is going to take place, because I know after this gathering, the heads of institutions are going to hold their final meeting where that is going to be announced. At this point in time, join me in applauding for ourselves, all of us, each one of us, for the successful job that we have done here. I thank you so much for your attention. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your kind words, and I now want to take this opportunity to invite our today's guest, the Director General of Workforce Development Authority, Mr. Gatavaz Pascal, for his remarks.
Hello, good afternoon. Thank you for the honor to speak before you. I have been requested to deliver these closing remarks on behalf of our permanent secretary, who was supposed to deliver these closing remarks. I have been informed he has been unwell this morning. So I want to thank you for the honor to deliver these closing remarks. Honorable Ministers, General Secretary of CAPA, CAPA Executive Board, participants representing various countries, representative of public and private institutions, development partners, dear representative of youth here present. Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it is good to see you here all, still energized. Many speakers have said it all, if I can say it so. This is the last day, but we can still see the energy. I think my previous speaker said it so well. It is good to see you all here, still energized despite all the hard work and thinking that we have done together. These last 4 days, you will agree with me that this CAPA conference has brought out many new TVET ideas and with much exchange from various countries, training providers, and industry best practices. Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, we express our special gratitude to CAPA for allowing Rwanda to host such a big conference. Rwanda TVET practitioners and all delegates represented here have learned a lot during various presentations and the discussions related to improvement of TVET for quick youth employment. The CAPA conference was a great opportunity for TVET decision makers, policy makers, and implementers lecturers and youngsters to expand professional network and exchange experience and insights on global and regional issues and challenges of TVET education system. Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, TVET plays a fundamental role in achieving economic growth and empowering people to shape their own future. TVET facilitates young people and adults in taking full advantage of the job opportunities, supporting the development of sustainable and localized solutions, and engaging in sustainable entrepreneurial activities. Therefore, in order to make progress, there is a need to synergize and join efforts to make TVET more attractive and effective. TVET institutions need to work together and share the approaches and best practices. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, TVET and skill development underpin all of the SDGs, the Sustainable Development Goals. I am sure that all TVET policies we have are aligned with the global development agenda, but I request you to emphasize on its effective implementation. It's one thing to have policies, it's another thing to implement them. In many instances, TVET is viewed as a vehicle with the ability to transform livelihoods and world-scale national economies. It is the instrument for social transformation that has potential to reach every strata of the society in a country, equipping them with employable competencies. Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, such tremendous potential notwithstanding, TVET remains a recent phenomenon to our relatively youth countries. Our countries are youthful. There are also considerable challenges that implementers of TVET confront on a day-to-day basis. One can safely assume that these challenges bear a common thread and have been encountered in different times and from many nations, and therefore the need for this conference and its drive to bring you all together to share experiences and to derive lessons that will address these challenges of implementing TVET. Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, to remain relevant, TVET needs to meet the changing dynamics of the socio-economic labor market needs. This adaptation process, which often entail changing existing structures and practices, has to be implemented at the institutional and country levels. To drive this process effectively, strong leadership skills and required, strong leadership skills are required in all kinds of institutions concerned with TVET, be it ministries, national bodies, research institutions, or training providers. It is to note that leadership is about successfully managing change Let us all be drivers of change. Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I'm glad to hear that African countries are promoting gender in all aspects, let it be political, socio-economic, etc. But in TVET, there is still a big issue of gender disparity, especially in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics-related disciplines. Special efforts must be made in your campaign drive to attract more female students to all TVET disciplines, even those perceived male-dominated disciplines. In addition, African countries need to consider the harmonization of TVET programs in order to allow easy mobility and youth employment. Finally, let me reiterate our Honorable Minister of Education, of our Minister's appreciation of the CAPA Secretariat for putting together this conference and inviting you all here. Maybe it has been mentioned, our minister, of course, was keen to be here, but is in Japan for TCAD. I wish you all well as you carry the good news of immense possibilities for change in TVET and industry involvement in training back to your workstations. Thank you all for your kind attention. Murakoze cyane. All right. The Vice Chancellor is advising me because I was delivering these closing remarks on behalf of my peers. I couldn't add much, but we declare this CAPA conference officially closed. Thank you so much.